All right, welcome to the video on content analysis. So in the previous video, we discussed how to find competitors in your niche and industry. And in this video, we're going to be going through some of the ones that we've talked about in the previous video and talk about their content and start to build a strategy around them. Now, the thing that I want you guys to understand is we're not copying people. If you are just starting your brand or you're re-kickstarting your brand, you've got to have an idea of the people that are finding success in your space, what they're doing, and instead of shooting completely in the dark, starting to get an idea of where the target is so that we can start hitting towards that mark, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So I've got 3 accounts and I picked these accounts on purpose. Not only, we didn't really go too in depth on analysis in the previous video, but I pulled up these 3 in specific and I'll explain why. So we've got Jay Ferrugia here. And before the video, I went through and looked at some of his content. High performance coach for men. You can see that all of these, men's lifestyle coach, king of making men strong. So they are all in the space of helping men, which is what I am going to use as an example for my space. So if we go through and we watch a couple of his videos.
The question I get a million times, which I find bewildering, is
Question I get a million times. Do you warm up? So we got to warm up, right?
it's easy to default to being nice, which is bullshit, by the way. Every man should read the book No More Mr. Nice Guy. The author's
So this one's about being nice, talks about the book No More Mr. Nice Guy. And if we go through a bit more of his content, we can see that he focuses on extremely tactical fitness information, right? Correct form, going heavier isn't always the answer. Should you warm up? Importance of warming up, but also mindset as well. No more Mr. Nice Guy, passivity in your life, right? So that's what his focus is. And the more we look and the more we take into account, the more granular we can get with those specifics. But that's a high level overview of this guy. Looking at Christian, I mean, off the bat, right? Nature driven living, shirt off in every photo, long hair, like blue. This guy is more holistic, nature, natural ingredients. But looking at his content, let's watch a couple of videos, right?
Hey brother, if you're not waking up with morning wood, there's probably a problem with your testosterone level.
If you're not waking up with a morning wood, there's a problem with your testosterone level. And he starts it with, hey brother, and then the caption has, how's your masculine energy, man? So he's a bit more chill, relaxed dude, long hair, don't care, flown in the wind, blue sky in the background, right? Primal gut healing. So as you can see, this guy's a bit more primal, bit more natural, different from the first guy. That guy was pretty straight cut, ones and zeros. This is how it is. This guy's going to be talking to you about which natural ingredients you should be eating and that type of stuff, right? And we've got Elliot Hulse here pulled up. So
if you don't have parents that know how to love each other the right way, in a biblical way, in a generative way, then how are you going to know how to do it? The way you know.
Talking about parents and model and parents being used as a model in relationships.
When you marry your wife, what happens? The father gives her over to you. Now I know we take it.
When you marry your wife, the father gives her over to you. Very traditional guy. If you look through more of his content, he's pretty red pill. Women's roles in the household should be to stay home. Men's role is to provide. Extremely traditional, very triggering. Looking through some of his content, he says stuff and it's just like, I don't give a fuck about what you think. This is my opinion, and the people that resonate are gonna resonate.
Has a way of saying things really harsh. My mom would say this all the time. Edmund, you're right, but the way you're saying it makes it wrong. And he never got that. He was always like, that don't make any sense to me.
So this guy's mindset, values, principles men should have in their lives. Very heavy on mindset, not much fitness. I think I was reading he used to be a heavy man, weightlifter, but it seems to be very focused on the mindset and principles. So now we can see that we've got 3 people. They're all mindset coaches, and we can take things we like from each of them into account based on the brand and voice we want to have for our page. So let's say I want to go, for example, right? You'll have an idea of what you want to do and who you want to target, but I personally want to have a more scientific approach. So a more scientific approach to the gym and the ingredients. And I like the style of Christian with the holistic, more relaxed elements. But I also like Jay's straight edge, the mindset principles that Jay and Elliot might talk about. So now that we've kind of identified each of their pages, avatars, and personal voices, let's take a look at some of their content. As you can see, we've got 3 pinned posts here. Photo, photo, photo. But most recent, lots of reels. We've got a tweet here, reels, photo, lots of reels, another tweet. So this guy does a lot of reels. He's got some tweets in there as well, some tweets sprinkled in, and he's got some photos sprinkled in there as well. Looking at his captions, we can see this guy does, that one's medium form, pretty long form, collab post. This one's pretty long form. He's got a CTA at the end of this one. Progressive overload is not a linear, not very hook focused, more educational focused on that one. Confidence is the ultimate superpower, and he goes more long form there. This one, short form caption. And the posts that do very well, let's find one that is an outlier, 400. This one's medium form. We should also be paying attention to the fact that he's not holding the camera, right? Take that into account as well. Not crucial, but something to notice. He's not holding a camera. He has someone recording him. He's in the gym. And you can see here, he switched up the format. Strikes a lot of conversation in the comments, which is always good. We should also read some of these comments and see what is making them comment. Good advice. I love this idea. I use the sled, goblet squats. I agree, it can be so boring. So this reel is talking about no boring cardio. Ways to excite the cardio routine so that you can keep it in your routine but not get bored of it. It's a value add with an expertise, and he makes it exciting by actually showing off the workouts. Moving on to Christian, what do we got? So this guy's a bit brighter, right? He's in nature more, just looking at the thumbnails.
Our ancient ancestors were free in the sun, barefoot, naked, free bowling in the wild like a wolf. Nowadays, a lot of us are...
So he's saying that our ancient ancestors used to be really naked, as his hook. He's in the forest here. Are you a domesticated poodle or a wild wolf? What a hook, man. More medium form in this one. Also, we can take into account some of these hashtags, pay attention to those, see what is working. Hashtags aren't crucial, but if you see a hashtag that is in all of their posts that are more high performing, well, try it out. If it makes sense for your personal brand and voice, right? And also ask ChatGPT for similar hashtags. Just paste that one in there. Here we got an unboxing video. Long form, probably a sponsored post. Medium form, making the modern man obsolete. And we got good conversation happening here, talking about the world desperately needs masculinity and how, so this guy's more masculinity has decreased, testosterone is decreasing, and we need to go back to a holistic lifestyle in order to get back to the best version of man. And he's got a similar font in every thumbnail. Doesn't really change up his style extremely, but he does have carousels every now and then. And it looks like this one did have a CTA rewild at the end here. So this one isn't a Twitter carousel, but it is branded to his voice. Something to keep in mind, right? And Elliot Holst is all reels. This guy's all reels. He switches up.
The sin of fornication is
What we can notice, because his captions are also all super short, is more so the editing style that he uses. He's got a highlight for his captions. Pretty bold font, easy to read. It was black and white video, not black and white. Same font, same style, same short caption. All right, so now we can begin to gather things that we like from all of these pages. Well, I like his, I don't have a lot of time to record all reels, so I like the fact that these guys have carousels they post every once in a while, and photos. But I like this guy's editing style. Very in your face. He's got some zoom cuts that he uses to increase retention throughout the video. And I like how hot his topics are, but I don't like how triggering he comes off, right? For my example, maybe, right? So now we can head over to ChatGPT. All right, so I'll be sharing this prompt, but let me share what we've done. So you are Viral GPT, a social media influencer, agent AI, and I'm your human influencer counterpart. I'm a liaison between you and our Instagram audience. You will give me content ideas using my brand and voice to create content for our audience. You will give me a script and step-by-step instructions, and I will record an Instagram reel using your content idea. I currently have X followers, and your goal is to turn that into 100,000 followers organically in the shortest time possible without doing anything illegal, running ads, or purchasing followers. Here's a bit about my brand. I'm in the men's coaching space, and I take a scientific approach to my content. I like to share tips on fitness, medicine, and nutrition. I have an offer that teaches people over the age of 25 how to perform at their highest level by optimizing their routine and nutrition, but I don't want to push it every single day. Respond if you understand. And it said, as a social media influencer agent, I'll help you create content. We'll focus on your unique brand. Right, it gave its response, but I wasn't ready for the first script. I wanted to provide a bit more context first. But what it did give me is pretty good. It was a daily routine and an introduction to the brand. So we've got everything from the script to the actual instructions, and we can always ask for a better build out of the script, more precise instructions, bullet points, etc. But here's what I said taking our content analysis into account, right? Here are some accounts to take inspiration from when creating our strategy. Jay, Alpha Man, shares lots of fitness and mindset. Fitness content is centered around achieving good form, and mindset content is focused around books to read, principles high performers should adopt, etc. I like how educational and dry cut his content is. Now, the more we analyze and the more context we provide, the more tailored the output is, but I think this is fine for what we're trying to achieve. Christian talks about living a holistic and natural lifestyle, regularly out in the sun, shirtless, promoting natural healing of the sun. Talks about how masculinity has decreased drastically due to increased processed foods, decrease in testosterone, etc. I like how raw and approachable his content is, not only explaining what this account is, but what I like about each account. Elliot Hulse, very red pill, alpha male, I don't care what you think type of individual. Talks about traditional values of men, such as women staying home and men providing. I like some of the concepts he talks about in terms of grabbing attention, but he can come off very offensive to some, and I would like to keep my content more approachable, but dive into similar topics every once in a while. So I explained pretty much our content analysis. Taking this information into account, craft me our first week of content. Thank you for providing these inspirations. We'll take a balanced approach, combining these aspects. Here's the plan for the first week. Instagram Reel, science-backed morning routine for high performers. Use the script and instructions provided in the previous response. So referencing that first post that it talked about. Day 2, static posts. Top 5 books every high performer should read. Share a picture of you holding your favorite books. In the caption, briefly describe each book and how it has influenced your mindset to approach to fitness and nutrition. Day 3, Instagram Reel, the power of the sun, vitamin D, and testosterone. You are outside in the sun talking about the benefits of natural sunlight. Short animation or graphic showing the process of vitamin D production and its link to testosterone. You offering alternatives to those who may not have access to enough sunlight daily. Here we've got an IGTV. Let's talk about masculinity, a respectful dialogue. 10 to 15 minute discussion about traditional values, modern man, and finding balance. He's got another static post, science of exercise, perfecting your form. A series of photos showing correct form for common exercises, and then the caption having a detailed explanation of each exercise. Now, this is great. So we've got an entire week of content built out for us, and it's taking inspiration. I can pretty much analyze which one's coming from one, right? Power of Sun, it's coming from Christian. Top 5 books should read, that's probably Jay. And that IGTV about masculinity sounds like it's probably coming from Elliot. This was a brief example, but if we provide more content ideas that Christian has shot in the past or that Elliot Hulse has shot in the past, and we make a list of 10 topics that they've talked about, we can provide more context to ChatGPT and say, now take these 10 topics from Elliot that he's talked about in the past. I want 10 topics in the similar space. Make them offensive, or not offensive, but make them very attention grabbing. Christian, he talks about nutrition labels, and he talks about melatonin. He talks about the sun, and he also talks about swimming pools being bad for you. Make me 10 more concepts in the natural healing space and make it about a holistic lifestyle, right? So it's all about gathering that context and feeding it to ChatGPT so that we can take inspiration and grab some ideas for our brand. So with this being said, we're not done completely. While this is useful, let's say we're gonna take day 5 as the example, and we're gonna say the science of exercise, perfecting your form. What are 5, we're gonna say for day 5, what are the 5 most common exercises in the gym I can talk about, right? Because maybe we want to really hit everybody, talk about exercises that everybody does. So we've got squats, deadlifts, bench press, pull-ups, and overhead press. Those are common exercises in the gym. We can always ask for more if we want to swap one of these out or 2 of these out, whatever. So now we know what to make our video about, but we can go even further and ask for a caption. All right, so we've got it writing our caption here. I said, write me a caption that fully encapsulates, I spelled that wrong, this topic, and has a CTA to DM me for my fitness program. Now, usually, from my experience, when you tell ChatGPT to write you a caption, it makes it very short. And so I usually try and avoid the word caption. I'll probably say something like passage or body of text, which will make it longer, but you can always ask it to summarize it, right? I think it made this a bit longer because of the topic, and we primed it in a way where it knew what it was talking about. And this is a topic that requires a more in-depth caption anyways. All right, so mastering your form is the first step in unleashing your full potential. Let's break down the 5 most common exercises. We've got the breakdown. We've got mistakes in form should lead to slow progress. Want to dive deeper into the science and unlock your peak performance? DM me info for my comprehensive fitness program. I would probably chop it there. All of this is a lot extra. And then we've got some hashtags to use as well. Remember to engage with those who DM you. What a great tip. Anyways, so there we go. We've got a caption and we've even got hashtags. So we've got a 7-day build out for our content strategy. If we have specific questions on a certain day, we can ask it for help with that day. All right, so that was just an example on how we can make reels. Now, it did give us some ideas for some photos. We've got to be able to kind of use our head a little bit and take the principles we've gone over. And we can use this for a Twitter thread. We can use this for a Twitter carousel on Instagram. I know everybody's seen those. We can use this for a selling story sequence to get started and start to snowball an idea that we have. What it comes down to is providing it context on your target audience, your brand and voice, and if you have some accounts that you've analyzed, giving your analysis breakdown to it so that once you do ask it for some quotes to make into Twitter posts, once you do ask it for a carousel, it has that context to go off of, right? So now that we've reached the end, I want to cover 2 things. First of all, if you're spending more than 10 to 15 minutes on each page analyzing their content, you're looking at it too hard. Looking at a page, breaking down their content should take about 10 minutes a page, right? You want to look at frequency of posting and you want to look at the type of content that they're posting. Are they posting a lot of reels? Do they post Twitter quotes? Do they post personal photos? Do they stay away from the personal and go full business? How do they convey themselves? Are they super aggressive? Are their hooks very curiosity driven? Are they more geared towards grabbing your attention? Or do they stay away from trying to really hook it and just post very natural reels? Is their branding a certain color? Do they have branding, right? These are the questions that you want to be able to ask yourself. And the more you do it, the more you'll pick up on these subtleties and it'll help you in that content analysis portion. And now the last thing is we've analyzed people in our niche and industry, and we started to see things that work for them, but that's them. We want to take unique selling points and advantages for our brand and our voice and implement it, right? At the end of the day, we are only analyzing to take inspiration. And so this is your opportunity to implement your ideal target audience or your voice into this content strategy and convey that to ChatGPT in order to truly stand out in this social media game. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.